Ego big, little legs. Skinny kid with plenty.
What's up, YouTube? It's ZTAY, aka Lil Red, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be reacting to my 2020 All-NBA Overrated team. This video is by Sporting Logically, so this is gonna be his own opinion. This video has almost 20,000 views, so let's get into it. It was posted July 14th, so it's very recent. Let's see what he's got. 2020 All-NBA Overrated team. Let's see if he's gonna put any superstars
Welcome
in
back,
here.
everybody, my name is Tucker, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about my all-overrated NBA team here in 2020. These are players at every single position that I feel like generally people think are a lot better than they actually are. Let's go ahead and get into the video of my 2020 all-overrated NBA team. First up at the point guard spot, I guess I'm really just going 1 through 5 here, but I guess you could technically call this player a point guard, and it's D'Angelo Russell. And maybe this is kind of a weird one for some of you, for me to be saying negative things about D'Angelo Russell.
D'Lo? Why'd you have to do D'Lo like that, bro? Come on. All right, let's see what he has to say.
Because he was such a big part of that Nets team last year that had a big part to do with where the team is now with signing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. But I felt this way even at the time last year about
to stay away from.
He is a player that it's just very difficult to win a lot of basketball games with D'Angelo Russell, in my opinion, because in order for him to be most effective, he needs to be a huge focal point of the offense. He's a guy that needs a high usage rate to be effective because he is a good to great offensive player. But if D'Angelo Russell is the focal point or one of the focal points of your offense, you're just not going to be a very good team. He
averages 23 points a game. How are you not going to be a good team? So you're telling me if the Hornets got D'Lo, they wouldn't be a good team? They would get worse because he has to have the ball more? I mean, obviously that's like kind of a crazy scenario, but obviously I don't think D'Lo is going to be good on the Warriors, bro. There's too many guards on the Warriors. I knew that wasn't going to work. But for the Timberwolves, bro, I'm telling you, the Timberwolves are going to be good with him and Cat. And Cat gets the ball too. I think your theory right here is going to get proved wrong, bro. D'Lo is nice. D'Lo is nice, bro. I'm telling you. The Nets team actually in the playoffs last year, I think should have beat and could have beat the Sixers, bro. I'm telling you.
He's not efficient enough and he doesn't play make at a high enough level to really carry an offense. So it's this weird thing,
bro. He's a nice playmaker.
You want to get a ton of value out of him, which on his current contract you obviously want to, then you need to give him a lot of offensive responsibility. But if you're doing that, then generally you're not going to be a very good team. And
well, obviously he's going to be a ball dominant. He's a point guard, bro. And he's a good point guard. Like, these good point guards are ball dominant. Every single good point guard is ball dominant. They have, that's literally why they're a point guard, bro. D'Lo's a playmaker. Honestly, I disagree on this take.
I understand that he made an all-star team at a very young age
we'll see the rest
last season. But for me, it's not that he's a bad player. It's just that he is overrated compared to how good he actually is by a lot of people.
Nobody talks about him
because of the scoring stuff.
I don't think anybody talks about D'Lo like that, though. Like, honestly, I don't ever hear people talking about how good D'Lo is. It's usually like the memes like D'Lo's a snitch. That's all I hear about D'Lo in social media, bro. D'Lo's popping off, bro. I'm telling you, D'Lo is nice, bro. Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him.
His entire
He's underrated, bro. Honestly, he is underrated.
And as I said, how much you really have to cater to his game to make sure that he has a level.
Bro, did you watch him on the Nets last year, bro? You serious, bro? That team was good. That team had a... I'm telling you, that team had a chance. That team had a chance. The Timberwolves, him and Cat are going to be a really nice deal. The Warriors is just a terrible fit for D'Lo.
Production that he needs to match up with the contract that he's currently signed to. I feel like he's a very overrated player, and I've had this opinion ever since last season. Next up now is a player that I've talked about a lot. You probably knew was going to be on this list if you've watched many of my videos in the past, and I'm pretty sure he's in the thumbnail too, and it's Zach LaVine. And I continue to be on the Zach LaVine is a big stats, bad team guy for the longest time. I've had that opinion for a couple of years now. His stats continue to improve, and he's improving as a player. And I don't want to make it sound like Zach LaVine is a...
Bro, if you're shooting 45%, I don't think you can make that theory, bro, or that take that he's a stat chaser, not a stat chaser, that he gets good stats just because he's on a bad team. I don't think you can make that take because he's shooting 45 and 46%, bro. He's an efficient scorer. Zach LaVine is nice, bro. And Zach LaVine is young. Like, notice how the first two people that he said are both very, very young basketball players. And nobody ever talks about Zach LaVine. I don't understand how he's overrated. Nobody talks about him. Social media doesn't talk about him. He's kind of on that superstar. I'm not even gonna say superstar. He's on that star level where nobody talks about him yet. Like kind of how Lillard was like when he first was starting out, where I'm telling you.
Bad basketball player. He can score the ball. He's improving as a shooter. He's improving as a playmaker. But it's very similar to the D'Angelo Russell thing. And I understand that teams like the Nets last year and the Bulls the last couple of years, they need somebody to score. Right?
The Nets aren't bad though. Is that what you're trying to say? The Nets are bad? The Nets are still good without D'Lo, without Kyrie, without Kevin Durant. They're still good, bro. Spencer Dinwiddie is not bad. Karis LeVert is not bad. Jared Allen is not bad, bro. You can't make that theory. You can't make that. You can't say that. You can't say that. And the Bulls, I agree, they're terrible.
Right. So guys like
I can see where you could say Zach LaVine is getting good stats because he's on a bad team. I can see that. But the fact that he's shooting with these percentages, I don't know.
Zach LaVine are going to step up and they're going to score the ball because that's what their team needs. But people are associating those guys with, oh, you know, they're scoring 23, 24, 25 points per game. They're really, really good offensively. And I just don't think that that's necessarily the case. They're not bad offensively. They're good offensive players, but their production comes more from the context and the situation that they're in more than anything else. And it hasn't really translated to winning basketball with the exception of a very...
Bro, you don't understand, bro. How many players are on a basketball team? Okay? You cannot win with one good player, and this is proven in almost every circumstance, bro. If you take a look back at one superstar on a team filled with nobody else, the team isn't going to be good. That doesn't necessarily mean that superstar is bad. Like, I don't understand what you're trying to say here. I understand you're trying to say Zach LaVine, if he was on a better team, his stats would go down, which I disagree with. Zach LaVine is a very, very, very efficient scorer and player, bro. He's got size. He's got athleticism. He's not a bad shooter. He could dribble. His defense isn't bad. Like, if you look at him as an individual player, he's not bad. I feel like you're just kind of getting that concept in your head. If they're on a bad team and they have good stats, then you think they're overrated. I think that's your concept in the head, and I think that's not true. That's like saying Allen Iverson's overrated when he took the Sixers to the finals, bro. I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Overrated 42-win season last year for Russell, and then Zach LaVine, really none of those Bulls teams have ever really won. Now, the supporting cast has not been great very often at all in Chicago in the time that Zach LaVine has been there, and neither has the coaching staff. So maybe he'll prove me wrong moving forward, and he'll be a really good player on some teams that will actually win basketball games.
He'll be a really good player? Like he's not a good player, bro?
When you're talking about, again, very similar to Russell, the whole package for Zach LaVine, he's not going to defend very well. He's not going to be a great playmaker. And yes, he can score the ball, but he's not.
Bro, how can you be a great playmaker with the players the Bulls have, bro? They're trash. They're not good. You can't be a good playmaker with these players. You understand that? I mean, you can, but it's tough. And Zach LaVine is a shooting guard. He's going to be the primary scorer for his team. He doesn't need to facilitate like that. The Bulls go to him when they need a score, bro.
Not going to elevate the other players around him, and if he is the offensive focal point for your team, you're simply not going to be winning very many games.
I disagree.
You have a very, very good supporting cast around him. So a similar story for our first two players on this list.
I disagree.
We move on to number 3 now, and it's Kyle Kuzma. And
I agree.
felt this way
I agree.
since he became like this guy that we talk about all the time. Like the difference between...
Hey, let me tell you why he's overrated. Kuzma got his height from Lonzo. He did. Think about this. Go back to the Summer League, right? Lonzo, all eyes were on him, bro. Like, he pretty much put the Summer League on the map for the NBA. Like, yes, it's been obviously going on for a long ass time, but Summer League wasn't really popular. Like, people didn't wait to watch the Summer League until Lonzo came. And I think we could agree on that because it was insane. Even if you don't like Lonzo, it was still, you probably got annoyed by all the hype, right? Now, Kuzma was on Lonzo's team, and Kuzma was doing the scoring for us. and he was scoring, and he was a late pick in the draft. That's why people were on Kuzma, okay? But I'm probably going to agree with what you have to say as a Lakers fan, bro.
How much we should talk about Kyle Kuzma as it relates to his basketball skill and his ability compared to how much we actually talk about Kyle Kuzma, that's a very, very large gap. And it's one of those things where if he wasn't playing for the Lakers, would we really talk about or think as highly of Kyle Kuzma as we do? And I know that a lot of people think that he's overrated as well. So I'm not trying to say that I'm the only one that has this opinion.
I think he's overrated.
But it feels like the general consensus is that Kyle Kuzma is a pretty good basketball player. And again, he's not bad. He can do some positive things, but he's in a situation where he needs to be a complimentary player, but he acts more like he's a guy that should be scoring the ball a ton.
I like that. I like that. That's low-key facts, bro. That's low-key facts. He's a complimentary player, but he acts like he's the primary. That's funny, bro. It's like a Lamar Odom, bro. I'm telling you.
And again, if he doesn't have a Lakers jersey on, I'm not sure that we really care all that much about Kyle Kuzma. He's not a great...
See, I don't want to hate on these players because, like, these players are playing at an amazing level, and I know that these players probably hate people like us because, like, we're not at that level when we're talking about them. But, like, as the viewer's eye compared to everybody else, this is where we're getting our takes. If, like, you know what I mean? Kuzma is not a bad player. Kuzma is a baller, bro. He's in the NBA. But I do think that the league has him overrated, especially how we kept him instead of Lonzo or Ingram. Like, I don't understand why we were so high on Kuzma. Maybe it's because the fact that he's a complimentary player, but I like what this guy said. He's a complimentary player that thinks he's the primary. Yes.
Great shooter. He's not a great playmaker. He can rebound a little bit. He can score a little bit.
All right, he's a good rebounder, though. I'm not going to lie. He's a good rebounder, and he's a good shooter. The playmaking, I agree with, bro. He's not a playmaker. He's not a playmaker, bro. And his defense he's got that mentality. It's just, his defense just isn't there either, bro. I went to a Rockets and Lakers game this season when the Rockets got rid of Capella. It was the first game without Capella, bro. And Westbrook dropped 42 on Kuzma's head, bro. He couldn't guard him.
But for what he is, I would like for him to be a better shooter and a better defender and do some other things around the edges rather than just being this scoring forward type guy that I don't really feel like does a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree.
Of that. Now, he still is young. He still can improve, although he's pretty old for the amount of years that he has been in the league. But he's a player that I think this is more about the perception of him more than it is the basketball skills, because again, he is playing in LA. That is a team that is getting a ton of attention, and as a result, Kyle Kuzma is a player that gets a ton of attention. In my opinion, is way overrated generally around the NBA community. We move on now to the 4 spot.
I actually agree with that, bro. No, I do, seriously, because I think he gets his hype from Lonzo and the Lakers. I don't think he's as good as people think. I agree with this one.
This one I considered not putting here, and it's Aaron Gordon. And the reason that I thought about not including him...
Okay, this is what I think. I don't think Aaron Gordon should be in the overrated category because, like, he's not rated. Like, seriously, whoever talks about Aaron Gordon, like, honestly, I feel like he could be underrated. I understand he's probably going to say he doesn't like his play style, and that's his reason for being overrated, but I think we're getting the idea of overrated confused. I think we're going... Well, what are you trying to say? Overrated? No, he does say my overrated. Okay, so it's not like the league's overrated, but I don't think that he's even rated high enough to say he's overrated. You know what I mean?
Is because this season has not been good for Aaron Gordon at all. So maybe people are coming back down to earth, but the dunk contest stuff and the fact that he really appears to be in the spotlight way more than his basketball skills seem to, necessitate is one of the reasons I think he is a really overrated player. So like the slam dunk.
It's like this part or this take sounds like it's really biased and he doesn't like the player personally. Like this sounds like he's hating. It does sound like he's hating because I don't think anybody ever talks about Aaron Gordon, and the reason he has this fame and people know his name is from the dunk contest, bro. He's an entertainer in the dunk contest and the dunk aspect of things, right? And on top of that, I feel like he's a decent player. Like, he's a pretty good player. He's a pretty solid player. I don't think people rate him high as a basketball player, but they rate him high as an athletic dunker, entertainment wise, in the dunk contest, bro.
Contest stuff is cool, and he was actually starting to have a couple of really nice seasons. But this most recent season has not been good for him at all. He's been put in some tough situations from a positioning standpoint in Orlando for sure, having to play more on the perimeter and at the three more than he ever really should have. And I think that there is some good in Aaron Gordon's game. He's obviously a great athlete. He's improved his skills from year to year. It hasn't been as big of an improvement as you would hope for from year to year from a player that has the physical tools that Aaron Gordon does. And maybe in a different situation, maybe in a team that has a little bit more perimeter talent that wouldn't have to rely on him so much to create on the perimeter, he would be someone that was perceived a lot more accurately. But I feel like because of the hype around the slam dunk stuff and because the last couple of seasons, the points per game have continued to improve, people haven't really caught up to the fact that he did not have a good season at all this most recent season. And I feel like,
but nobody talks about him as that type of player, you know what I mean? That's why, I mean, I don't think he could be overrated. They just talk about him, people just know him from the dunk contest, not his actual game.
Generally, again, because of the hype, he is a pretty overrated guy and someone that really doesn't help your team a ton.
If you're gonna say he's overrated, then you're saying he's overrated at what he does, which is performing the dunk contest. And I don't think that's a good take, and I think we can all agree that's not a good take, bro.
It isn't honestly that skilled of a player. That can obviously change still.
All right, now you're hating.
For a different situation, blah, blah, blah. And he's one guy that I would love to.
Bro, you're hating on Aaron Gordon for no reason, bro. What did he do to you? Nobody talks about him, bro. I feel like you're just hating on him because of hype. That's a hater. Stay away from those people.
To see in a different situation outside of Orlando on a team that has more spacing, that can play him at the 4, maybe even at the 5 to take advantage of the athleticism that he does have. But until all that happens, I think he's a pretty overrated player. And last up now at the 5 spot is a typical big name, not so good of a player anymore type guy. And it's DeAndre Jordan. And this has really been the case for at least a year and a half, at least 2 years, ever since he went to Dallas, and then obviously now with the Nets and a little stop in New York.
Okay, I can hear you out on this one. I could kind of see where you're getting this. I think he got his hype from Chris Paul, bro.
In between there. So DeAndre Jordan's a very good player in his time with the Clippers. A guy that can really protect the rim, one of the best rebounders in the league, certainly has some flaws at the free throw line, isn't going to be a great offensive player, but can finish around the rim, stretches the floor vertically, things like that. And then he got to Dallas, and it was kind of, you know, people thought it was a pretty big move for Dallas to bring him in and to play the 5, kind of play that Tyson Chandler type role. And he just simply wasn't all that engaged in Dallas. Defensively, it's been slipping.
See, this is where I'm trying to think of, or this is what I'm trying to think of when we're talking about overrated, is like where you're getting this idea that a player is rated high. I don't think DeAndre Jordan is rated high, but I believe what you're trying to say is because he has a name for himself, and I think that is from the Clippers. So honestly, I could see where you're going with this one. I do think that a lot of people know him, but I don't think they rate him high. They know him, so they think he's good. Like a lot of casual basketball fans, you know what I mean, that don't actually watch these teams. Like a Clippers, bro. You're going to watch the Clippers because they're in the playoffs, number 1. They have Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. They got multiple stars. So obviously that's how you're going to know DeAndre Jordan. So I understand what you're trying to say with this one.
For years, same thing in New York. And then in Brooklyn, I don't think he's the best 5-man on the roster. I think Jared Allen is better.
Yeah.
I don't think that he
Jared
should have
Allen
been
is
starting
better.
At any point this season. He should have just been a very, very, very good bench big.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes people think that DeAndre Jordan is still the DeAndre Jordan from like 2016, right? Where he's going to be protecting the rim and he's going to be rebounding everything. He's going to be finishing at the rim. He still does some good things, but the defensive stuff specifically, which for the longest time was his calling card, at least in terms of rim protection and blocking shots, that stuff has really slipped. So
he's also getting older, so you can't say that his athleticism's going down a little bit. But like, I understand what you're saying. People probably still think he's like that and still think he's that player. But like, in my own opinion, I don't think of him that way, and I think he's rated good in my own mind. Like, you know what I mean? I think the league doesn't really talk about him that much anymore. Like, oh, he's on this team. Oh, it's DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, but like, I think he's like a good 6-man for his teams. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be the best pick for his team. So I agree with you, and I agree with what you're saying.
So yes, it's a bigger name, but as a player in terms of being productive and actually helping you win basketball games, and in my opinion, actually starting games for the Brooklyn Nets, DeAndre Jordan is a very, very overrated player. Still a good player, as is the case for every single guy on this list. Overrated doesn't.
All right, guys, if you If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like the video. Also, if you disagree with any of these players, DeAndre Jordan, Zach LaVine, D'Angelo Russell, Kyle Kuzma, or Aaron Gordon, let me know down below in the comments your take on it, because I do want to hear from you guys. Who do you think is overrated? Who do you think is not overrated? Who do you think is rated high? Also, other players that aren't on this list. Give me your top 5 NBA all overrated team. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys for watching another video. Thank you guys for the recent support on the channel. I greatly appreciate that. You guys don't even know. Also, see through the hate, my friends. This is ZTAY. Peace.